Are you feeling stuck in your life? Do you look at other students around you and wonder how they got so confident or have such drive, ambition, or such a cool life? Are you lonely and pining away for more friends or a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Or even if things are going great for you, do you sometimes feel like you're working too hard all the time and you're too often uptight and never have anything that brings you joy? Then you, my friend, are ready for an artist date. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and clicking on the bell for notifications. This is the channel to learn about literature and life. Wake up, people. It's time to get unstuck in your lives and your regular routines. The concept in this video applies to you whether you're a straight-A student on the dean's list with all your ducks in a row and on your way to an Ivy League school, or whether you're a freshman struggling to even make it to class and dealing with mental health challenges and difficulties. What is an artist date? The concept comes from the single best book on creativity ever written. The book is called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and you don't have to go buy the book or borrow or rent it or anything to understand what an artist date is. I'm going to explain it all right here. The great thing about an artist date is that they are 100% absolutely free. You can go on an artist date if you're stuck back in some crappy town in rural Kansas for the rest of the summer with your family, or you can go on an artist date if you're living in New York City's Upper West Side. You can go on an artist date with zero money, and it doesn't even matter if you've dropped out of school or currently aren't even enrolled. Again, I want to give credit for the concept of an artist date to the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. That having been said, let me dive right into explaining it and giving you some ideas on what to do. So according to Julia Cameron, there are two staples to being a successful and creative adult: journaling and artist dates. These are two separate activities, and although she's correct that journaling and artist dates are the two most important components to being successful and creative, it doesn't mean that you have to be doing one in order to be doing the other. So if you aren't journaling yet, you should be, and I've got a great video entitled Introduction to Stream of Consciousness Writing, which is about journaling, and I've linked that in the description below. But you don't have to be journaling to go on an artist date. They're totally separate things. So what is an artist date? Well, it's a pre-planned activity of somewhere between 20 minutes and 90 minutes that you wouldn't normally do, and it's a very small baby step into a new hobby or art form or lifestyle. So let me repeat that again because it's so important. An artist date is a pre-planned activity of something you don't normally do that lasts anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half, and it's a baby step into a new hobby, art form, or lifestyle that you're attracted to. So ideally, you should be doing an artist date once a week, every week. I've been doing them myself off and on for almost 25 years, and I can tell you they work like magic. Actually, they are magic. So let's jump right into a few examples of things, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about them. So here are some examples. Number one, going to an arts and crafts store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and just browsing the paintbrushes, sketch pad, art supplies, or going to a music store and looking at guitars and musical instruments for sale. Going to a Barnes & Noble and browsing the writing section or the manga section for advice on and how-to books on creative writing or drawing or illustrating. So an artist date doesn't have to be specifically about fine art, as I just gave you those examples above. It's just a baby step toward a new hobby or an art form or a lifestyle that you're attracted to. So the following are also good possibilities for an artist date. Going to a large outdoor store like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro and browsing the camping equipment, or going to a specialty store like Lululemon and browsing yoga and athletic wear. An artist date can also be specifically about a new hobby or a lifestyle that you're interested in. So have you always thought about how cool it would be to be a YouTuber? So an artist date is going to Best Buy and just looking at GoPros or Yeti microphones or any kind of cool equipment that YouTubers and podcasters use. So while the ones that I mentioned so far have been about browsing stores that would be a good first step toward a new hobby or lifestyle, an artist date can also be about going and doing something physically. So for example, going to a kickboxing class or to a new specialty gym like a Pilates or a yoga studio. Most places like that will allow you to take one class completely free, especially if you call ahead or if you download their app and sign up. And again, the vast majority of art estates should be completely free. It costs absolutely nothing to go to a Michael's Arts and Crafts store and just kind of lose yourself for a half an hour browsing among the sketch pads and brushes and watercolors and good drawing pencils. Again, it's totally free. But if you're a person who's been depressed by the terrible high school education you probably got, or if you've just gotten stuck in a rut with a certain friend group that you have, then going to a place like I just said, like Michael's or a cool music supply store and looking at guitars and, basses, then that will be just transformative because it gives you this sort of hope and this optimism, and it just really lights your spirit up. All of us, from 16-year-olds to 96-year-olds, we tend to get stuck in habituated ways of living. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your income level is. You could be flat broke and still a sophomore in high school with no job, or you could be in your 50s and making a six-figure salary with a family to support. It really doesn't matter, but you probably need to go on an art estate because it's just lifting your spirit and pointing you in the direction of something that you kind of tentatively are interested in, or that's kind of calling to you. So I remember when when many of the COVID restrictions began to temporarily lift in April of 2021, I was just finishing teaching a full semester of classes, and I had 2 college freshman classes. And so I explained to these 2 college freshman classes what an art estate was, and then I required them to choose one and just by themselves choose anything they wanted to that was related to the things which I already gave you for examples, and then go on an art estate and then post in the discussion thread about it. And they came up with all kinds of cool ideas for themselves. They were very excited about it. They loved doing it. Like I said, these were college freshmen that were finishing their first year. So most of them were preparing to move out of the dorms and live in an apartment for the first time. And actually several of the guys in the class chose to go to like cookware stores like Williams Sonoma, because they were anxious and excited about cooking on their own in the fall. Some of the students chose to go to athletic events or types of workouts they'd never done before. A few went to either kickboxing classes or martial arts classes. One went to the climbing wall at the University Recreation Center. I made myself do an art estate. Same time. So this is April of 2021. I'd always heard about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'd never tried that before. There's a Jiu-Jitsu studio in Tuscaloosa with excellent reviews. So I just called. I talked to the owner. I asked if I could attend a class for free. No problem. And so I went and did it. By the way, it was a grueling hour of grappling, not at all what I expected. And I really had a blast, although by the end of it, when I left, I knew that I wasn't going to be interested in doing it long term or anything. But again, totally free. And if you're just in the right headspace about what it is you want to do, if it's something like, going to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class or going to a bar class, I've done that before. Or obviously like yoga or Pilates studios, or there's all kinds of different types of kickboxing or Orange Theory fitness classes. And you just, call them or download an app, tell them you're interested in joining, and boom, you're definitely going to get a free class. So over the years, I've broadened my idea of what constitutes an art estate. So sometimes I'll drive to someplace that I've never been to go to a hiking or a biking trail. I've gone to museums, obviously poetry readings, specialty athletic stores to look at high-end running shoes, large outdoor shops to look at canoes and kayaks, and specialty bike stores to look at expensive expensive trail bikes. It's important to recognize that the very best art estates are free. When you go to a Barnes & Noble, you might spend $4 on like a Frappuccino or something. But more importantly, if you used to enjoy drawing, you could bring along an old sketchbook and you just sit down in the store, you get one of the books off the shelves for free to just look at. Maybe it's like a how-to book on drawing manga, and then you're sitting there, and before you know it, without even having to buy anything, you're just finding yourself lost like a kid again, enjoying drawing like you hadn't had for years before. And those are the types of art estates where they're free or less than $5. And it is literally life-changing because it'll help you kind of get out of a rut, maybe because of like your friend group is kind of boring, or you've just gotten into just a habituated way of, people that you hang out with, the way you spend your time. So like my earlier videos on meditation and learning to wean yourself off social media, with this video on artist dates, I suggest that you hold yourself accountable in some way. So this could be something as simple as writing it down on your planner before or after you go on the artist date. It could also mean telling a best friend and asking her to hold you accountable. Although importantly, sometimes it's crucial not to tell your friends about going on artist dates. Often we get into, like I said, kind of ruts with our friends or our peer groups. And if you've been hanging out with the same group of people for a long time, it doesn't matter if you're in college, maybe you're in the Greek system, or even if you're listening to this and you're still in high school, you're a junior or senior in high school and you've had the same friend group for several years, or if you're, in your 20s or even in your 30s and, you maybe have the same people that you hang out with at work or something like that. Sometimes it's actually better not to tell anyone, because we get around people and they get used to the person that they've known for a while, that they've known for several years. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a junior in high school or if in your 30s or 40s and you're working full time. The people that we hang around with at work or school, they kind of get used to who we are. And so sometimes it can be uncomfortable for them, for people, even if they're people that you like, people that you get along with, it'll be uncomfortable for them when you start to grow in some way. So like I said, you just trust your intuition on that. If your intuition is telling you can trust one of your good friends, then you tell them, you're like, oh, I watched this video. It's so cool. I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to go check out musical instruments at this guitar store. And I just want to browse and look at things. Then tell one friend. If you feel like they're open-minded or they're always supportive, then that's awesome. But it's probably not a good idea to sort of broadcast it to everybody, because what you're doing is you're just choosing something kind of fun that's speaking to you, kind of like speaking to your higher self or your soul. So that's why, sometimes it's really best to keep these kind of ideas, keep them away from larger friend groups or family members or something. So again, an artist date is a pre-planned activity anywhere between 20 minutes and 90 minutes that you wouldn't normally do. It's something that's a very small baby step into a new hobby or art form or lifestyle. Amongst all those that I already listed and mentioned, an artist date could also be going to like a health food store that you normally don't go to. And you just look around at like vegetarian foods or keto foods or ingredients or something. It could be going to a photography studio and just inquiring about booking a shoot. Maybe you've not always, but maybe for a while you've been interested in modeling. And, so you want to think about getting a portfolio and just you're kind of taking a step in that direction, because anything that you can do, anything that's sort of creative, like being a model, being a musician, being a writer, being an actor, all of those things start with the smallest baby steps. And they always start with people being very nervous about them. Look at any biography, not any, but most biographies of actors, people that are really successful in some way like that in a creative industry. And usually they kind of took like weird paths to get there. So that's what the big thing is just make it small, but just kind of like this exciting little thing that you pre-plan. So it could entail going to do art. So it could be just going to a coffee shop and bringing your sketch pad with you, or going to a food court or the student center at your college. Literally whatever may be calling you in order to expand your personality and your sense of identity. If you've never gotten a tattoo before, it could simply be going to a tattoo parlor and simply looking around. You can ask the tattoo artist about a price on something that you'd consider. Again, the time frame for an artist date is anywhere from 20 minutes to 90 minutes. It's just, and the vast majority of them are free. If you're currently enrolled in college, it could be just looking at the rec center's list of exercise classes and going to one that you've never been to before. One of my artist dates was I drove 50 miles away to Birmingham and I went to a Jaguar dealership to test drive a Jaguar. I didn't end up buying one, but I just dressed nice. I got there and I told the salesperson I was sincerely interested in a used lower end model. And I ended up going, he just took my license and he went with me, and I test drove sweet Jaguar convertible all through the sort of hills and the winding roads near the dealership. So again, we're just talking about a pre-planned activity of somewhere from 20 to 90 minutes that you wouldn't normally do, something that's a small baby step into a new hobby, art form, or lifestyle. So by now, you've certainly had a couple of good ideas for artist dates that are calling to your inner self, something fun that is beckoning to you to try something new. So as soon as you finish this video, take just 3 or 4 minutes, and maybe you need to Google to find a music store or Barnes & Noble or an art supply store or whatever it might be, whatever it is that you're thinking of. Just do what it is that seems kind of exciting and fun. And but as soon as you finish the video, take a minute to figure out where you would go, plan it. Take a moment to think about your school or your work schedule for the next few days, and then make a commitment to yourself to go on an artist date of your own choosing ASAP. Remember, doing this is a very small baby step, but it is an important one. And I'm telling you, it will change your spirits and just kind of give you this sort of transformative outlook and perspective about your life that is going to feel wonderful. So get ready to go on an artist date right now and begin to change your life forever. And thank you for watching my channel.